What is up, everybody? Jordan here with the Deck Box, coming back to you with another profile. This was actually the Leafeon Lurantis list that we saw in the Guard Shop video that my friend Matt piloted. I had some interest from some of you guys asking about the list, so I asked Matt, and he was more than willing to let us use his list and show it off for the channel. And so I'm happy to bring that to you tonight. So I'm going to run through this list real fast, and then actually we are going to be facing off against him. I figured it probably be a good person to play it against, since he knows the list pretty well, and he can pick some solid decks to go against it. I'm not saying decks that would be easy for them. He likes to pick hard decks for whatever I'm playing, so it'll be interesting to see for sure. Oh, we got low battery. We're going to make sure we get through this in time, though. So obviously, starting off, we do have a 4-3 Leafeon-GX list. Obviously, we can heal ourselves with Breath of the Leaves. That's pretty solid. But mainly what we're focused on is the attack and the GX attack. So the attack for 1 grass and a DCE. Solar Beam does 110 damage. And then Granbloom GX for just 1 grass energy allows you to evolve all of the basics on your bench straight away. So this breaks the rules of evolution. It's really, really solid. And that's kind of the core of setting this deck up. If you miss that early on, you're gonna have a rough time, and that's one of the things I'm kind of hesitant about playing Leafeon, is because you can get messed up so much just for missing that one turn. But we've seen in some of our testing that you can still come back from a rough setup. And then, of course, with the Leafeon, we need to make sure that, I cannot stress this enough, you need to be playing the Energy Evolution Eevee. I don't think many people aren't, but for newer players, I know there's always new players coming to the game, and so we need to make sure that they understand that just because a card is only 10 cents or maybe even less does not mean it's unimportant. It makes all the difference in the world for your setup. Excuse me. And that is why we play this one. Then we do play one Turtonator-GX, which I know might seem kind of odd, but what's really cool is he has Shell Trap. It can kind of set up a wall against your opponent. It's just for a DCE, and this deck runs DCE, so it's a nice little bit of synergy there. But paired with the 2 promo Lurantis, which also allow our fire Pokemon to do more damage, you're swinging for 60 damage, potentially 90 with a Choice Band, with Shell Trap, which is freaking awesome, especially if it's against a grass Pokemon. You could be one-shotting them. We do play Kukui in the list, so you could potentially be swinging for 220 with Shell Trap. I mean, it's pretty solid. So by doing that, we're setting up big knockouts. We're two-shotting things with Shell Trap, and we're setting up a wall where they're not going to want to attack us, because as we know, if they swing on us, it does 6 damage to them as well. So that's why Turtonator is included in this as a one-of. It's great for going up against grass Pokemon. Obviously, the mirror match wouldn't be a bad option to use it either. It has some great utility. Then moving on, for there, we run a 3-2-1 split of the Lurantis promo and Lurantis-GX. Starting off with the Lurantis promo, we just talked about it. It allows your grass Pokemon and fire Pokemon to do 20 more damage. Pretty self-explanatory. It has Solar Beam, 2 grass, and a Colorless for 80 damage. You're not going to use that. You're not going to want to use that. You have much better options. You're purely playing this in your list for the ability. And then from there, we do have one Lurantis-GX, which is a solid card. And I really love it in this deck. It has Flower Supply, where you get to attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like, and it does the 40 damage. So you could be swinging for 70 with a Choice Band, 90 with Kukui, so you can two-shot a lot of very important things. Things like Bulu, Volcanion, if you can survive a hit, Lele, things like that. Pretty solid, and it's just for 1 energy. And at the same time, you're setting up your bench to be able to take bigger knockouts. And then, of course, it has Solar Blade. You heal 30 damage from this Pokemon and do 120 damage. Pretty solid. And then Chlorocythe GX. You're not going to use Chlorocythe GX unless you had a bad setup and didn't use Granbloom. If you use Granbloom, you're not going to want to use, or you're not going to be able to use Chlorocythe. But if for some reason you miss Granbloom, Chlorocythe GX is a good attack. You get to do 50 damage times the amount of grass energy attached to this Pokemon. So, I mean, you probably figured it out. Flower Supply allows you to accelerate that and do some solid damage. After a turn or two, you could be swinging for 200 plus. So really solid GX attack if you need it. And then we have our 2 Tapu Lele for the Wonder Tag ability to search out any supporter, and then obviously Energy Drive, just a nice backup attack, always there for you. And then we run a 2-2 Octillery line. I really like this inclusion in the list, mainly because Grand Bloom allows you to accelerate the evolution, so you're not going to set up a Remoraid and then miss the Octillery and just have to sit there and wait for it and hope that you draw an Ultra Ball or hope that you draw Octillery. You get to use Leafeon right away to go into your deck and evolve Remoraid turn 1 and not have any issues. So that's why I really like Octillery in this list. I know there's Zoroark that can draw, but really for this list, Octillery is much better. You're able to have 1 prize support as opposed to 2 prize support. And this deck, as you can see, focuses a lot on one prize support, with Octillery and the Lurantis promo. So you don't want too much 2 prize support. You want your opponent to take down your support and only take a prize at a time. So you kind of entice them into doing that while you're still setting up your 2 prizers, and those are taking the knockouts. From there we get into our items. We have 2 Field Blower. Obviously this deck is very heavily reliant on abilities, and as I've mentioned before, I think Garbodor is kind of starting to come back a little bit, which is kind of scary to think about, but we use our Field Blower so that we can use Octillery, we can use Leafeon, we can use Lurantis, and our Lele, of course. Heavy on abilities in this list, so that is why we play 2 Field Blower. Then we have 1 Rescue Stretcher. This is obviously just to get our Pokemon back, because we are going to end up discarding some of them at some point, maybe with Ultra Ball or Sycamore, whatever the case is. We're probably going to dump some, and so that's a way to get them back in a pinch and keep just speeding through things. And then we have 4 Ultra Ball. We all know what this does. We get to search for Pokemon out of our deck, so pretty solid. You're going to want to discard Grass Energy with that, preferably, if you have this Lurantis out, because then obviously you can get it right back and set up another Pokemon. So that's really what you're going to want to focus on. Or useless cards like later in the game, your second Brigette. You're not going to need that anymore. Which brings us to our supporters. We run 2 Brigette. This is something I'd like to see upped. I'd like to see that count upped, but I just don't know what exactly I would cut off the top of my head here. But the reason I would want it to be increased is so that we can guarantee that we can get our bench set up to use Grand Bloom. I've had issues in the past using Leafeon and not hitting Grand Bloom just because I didn't get my Brigette on the first turn. So it's very important, very integral to the deck. And I mean, 2 is definitely the absolute bare minimum. Go no lower than that and you should be okay. Then for draw support, we're going to skip through all of our draw support. So we are on 2 of each of the following: 2 Cynthia, 2 N, 2 Hala, 2 Kukui, and 2 Sycamore. So 10 draw supporters. Matt really likes his draw support. And what's great about this is they all have separate utility, but they all really go with the deck. Obviously Cynthia, N, and Sycamore, those are pretty common in most decks now. Some shuffle draw, and then Sycamore is obviously discard, draw 7. Really solid cards. What's not very popular in a lot of decks is Hala, especially. We really have not seen Hala show up in many decks, if any. But it works really well with this deck because your goal is on your first or second turn, depending on if you go first or second. You will be using your GX attack early, super early. So that makes Hala amazing because you get to shuffle your cards into your deck and draw 7 new cards. It's basically Sycamore without having to discard. So you can definitely see the advantage of having that in this list. I would even like it to be a higher count, but it's actually okay at the 2 count because, like I said, you don't always hit Grand Bloom your first turn. So it's a nice conservative count, but at the same time it helps immensely. And like I said, you have 10 draw supporters, so you'll be okay. This other draw supporter you don't really use for the draw so much as you do for the additional damage, but it's pretty solid whenever you pair it up with a couple Lurantis promos doing additional 40 and then 60 total with the Kukui. So that makes your Leafeon swing for 170, Choice Band 200. So pretty solid. And then of course if you did math with Turtonator, you're swinging for 80, and then Choice Band 110 with a Turtonator Shell Trap, which is just incredible. So that's why he runs all the different draw supporters, and really they work really well with the list. Then we run 3 Guzma. Again, self-explanatory card. we need to get the Pokemon that we want to knock out, and Guzma is the way to do it. You can stall things, you can take bigger knockouts whenever your opponent's trying to give up a 1-prizer, but you really want their 2-prizer that's on the bench. Guzma is the way to do it. Really, really solid card. Then moving on to the tools, we run 3 Choice Band to do 30 more damage to our opponent's GX or EX Pokemon. This just allows us, again, to boost our damage output. We're trying to take big knockouts throughout the game, or at least 2-shot things, and Choice Band really helps us to set up some of those bigger ones. Then we run 3 Float Stone. Obviously we have things in this deck that we do not want in the active. That includes Octilleries and the Lurantis promos mainly. Those are the 2 that you don't want them in the active ever. They're not supposed to be attacking. It's just pointless. You only want them there if you're trying to stall something or sacrifice something so that you can survive another turn. And we will see that in these matchups. We've played the matchups. They're very exciting. You will see that. And it works really, really well. Then we're looking at 4 DCE for the list. Obviously with Leafeon's attack and Turtonator's attack, it just makes sense. And then 8 Grass Energy. We need the high count of Grass Energy so that we can guarantee the turn 1 energy evolution on Eevee moving into Leafeon. So yeah, so just a heads up guys, so now we're going to cut to the battle portion of the video. Just a heads up, there were some glitches when we were playing, so bear with us on that. Something with PTCGO was acting up really, really weird, so bear with us on that. And yeah, enjoy the matches. I think they were pretty exciting once we got past those glitches, but everything worked out. So please be sure to enjoy this video. And thank Matt as usual in the comments for allowing us to use his deck and for battling us. Okay guys, so we are going to face off against Matt now. We're going to try to grab 3 games against him with his list, his brew that he so graciously allowed us to use. So I'm curious to see what decks he's going to pick. He obviously knows the ins and outs of this deck. He knows what can beat it, what can't beat it. So we'll see. And real quick, the reason why I like facing off against Matt, or a friend that I know, is that I know I'm gonna get good, solid decks. It's not. Oh, he's back on the Gardevoir hype. He was watching Australia or Oceania internationals today, and there's a lot of Guardy going around. Apparently it's back, and apparently now you play it with Zoroark. I know people were doing that before in Memphis, but it at the time wasn't good. But anyway, I like playing up against people I know, because I know that they're going to have good, solid decks. I'm not going to get paired against people that just don't know what they're doing. So that's really why I'm doing it. Oh, I saw Leafeon. Oh no, that was mine. Okay, that was my list that had the mulligan. Whoops. I was like, what are you doing, Matt? Thought it was a good list. Alright, so this first opening hand sucks. Unless we can top deck the Grass Energy, really. We need a Grass Energy. And he gets to go first. I would love for him to end us. That's not going to happen, though. He's going to get his Brigette. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm pretty sure he picked up the Gardevoir list. I think Philip Schultz was the one using it. He was playing the Zoroark variant. And that round 1, it was a mirror match against Samir something. I forget his last name, but those two were facing off, and they had the Zoroark build with the Mew EX. So pretty interesting concept. Have to admit, it's pretty intriguing. I won't be playing it, but it's intriguing. Let's go for the Kukui, see if we can get a Grass Energy. Nope, it's fine. We will just do that. We need a quick draw, I guess. That's the kind of match this is going to be. Yeah. So now we need to. Now we need the Grass Energy, so at least Leafeon could attack. Or any sort of draw supporter, one of our Cynthias, one of our Ns, something. So this one could get away from us fast if we're not careful. Which really, I mean, if he gets a Zoroark and a DCE. Mew can take down our Eevee that's active, and then we're stuck with a lone Eevee, and this game would just be an absolute dud, which I hate when that happens, especially when I'm recording, because it doesn't show, you know, the potency of the deck. Sorry, so he's gonna attack, probably just using one of these 10 damage ones. Oh, he's gonna try Quick Draw. Not a bad plan. Try to draw some cards. Alright, so our Leafeon will get to come out, but it's really not that great for us. Let's get rid of these two. I believe he runs 2 Field Blower in the list. Bring up this guy. Let's do some more Quick Draw. We got to get through our cards. I hate doing it that way, but especially whenever we can't even hit it. So the plan is we're supposed to have a couple Lurantis out by now, but another reason I'm not digging Leafeon. It's not working. It's not working. Oh hey, oh, that wasn't from Dead Draw. I ordered a bunch of stuff from Dead Draw. They're shipped out earlier, and then bought another card on eBay. It shipped out, so I'm actually gonna bling out a deck. It's just gonna be reverses though, nothing crazy. All right, so now he's gonna knock out our Eevee with Gardevoir-GX. I'm gonna promote the Eevee because we do have Float Stone, and I don't know what we're gonna do. Hey, there we go. Except now he's gonna be able to just bop us. Guess we'll put another. Yeah, thanks, man. This does look rough. I'm trying. It's his list, not mine, so it's his fault. I'm gonna Solar Beam. I feel like that's the better option than evolving. Tell him it's his list, his fault. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's doing 180. He just needs a Choice Band or another energy. He's gonna hit it. There's no way he doesn't. And then he knocks out our active. If he doesn't hit it, I'll be shocked. He's gonna be able to set up his top 5 cards. He's got Zoroark. He's gonna get his energy, and he's gonna be able to knock out Leafeon. Oh man. The only thing that's gonna save us is if we top deck our Sycamore or something. Because if we can get a Sycamore, we can potentially get a Grass Energy to get a Leafeon and a bunch of Pokemon and set something up. And maybe some of the Octillery or Leafeons. But it's not like he even outsped us. We were just so slow. Nothing happened. That opening hand was rough, and it just got worse from there. So he's got an Infinite Force. He gets that knockout like almost perfectly. So we'll promote our Eevee with a Float Stone and cross our fingers. Hey, there we go. What do I want to do? Guess I'll attach it here. Let's look at our deck. We prize a Remoraid. Cool. Dude, quit laughing at me. So prize 1 Remoraid is 1 card. Lele is 2. Choice Band's 3. No, 1 DCE's prized. I forget the other 2. Since we've already played through some, it's tough to tell what we're missing. Well, you know what? No, I'm not going to Grand Bloom. I am going to retreat though, to keep that thing alive and hope that I can get my 1 DCE so that I can attack again. Be nice if I top deck Kukui, drew into the DCE so I can knock out the Gardevoir. And thank you for that. I actually needed that gone so I could put a Choice Band on. Rough stuff. Alright, so he's just trading through more cards. I could deck him out. He's only got 15 cards left. That's not gonna happen. I mean, he's got everything he needs and a little bit more. Double Guzma. Ah, come on. So he's gonna take down Leafeon, and this is where this game is over. Scoop. We're gonna move into the second game. Because that was awful. Oh my gosh. Oh man. It's been like that a lot for me today on PTCGO. Like playing with decks that I've tested with 1,000 times and know I'm in and out. It's just sucking. Feels bad that he beats me that bad. It happens though. And that's one of my main issues with Leafeon is it's so dependent on that excuse me, on that initial Grand Bloom, and if you don't get the Grand Bloom off, you know, you're just kind of sitting there waiting for something to happen. So yeah, it's frustrating, but it happens. So let's see what he pulls out now. I said I still have no clue. So we are getting our Grass Energy. We get our Brigette, we get our Fomantis. Ah, this is going to be so much better. And I think we're going turn 2, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I would love it if we went second. Ah, he's going to pull out my Glaceon Decidueye list. And he knows that Glaceon just wrecks Leafeon. Just wrecks it. And he has his Float Stone, so he's going to get it out immediately. Thankfully, we don't need our Lele, so that's fine. Really, there's no GX abilities that we need. I mean, Leafeon's ability is okay to use, but it's not a necessity for the deck. Really, we just need the promo Lurantis to boost the damage. But I mean, he's got Decidueyes, so that helps with the sniping. But we're in a good spot. So we're gonna get this out. Let's see, we prized 1 Remoraid, 1 Octillery. That's 2 cards. We prized. What else did we prize? A Guzma, which is 3. Yeah. An N, which is 4. Choice Band, which is 5. And something else. All right. What in the world just happened? Why did it take my Leafeon back? I don't know what that was. I evolved it with the Energy Evolution and it took it back. Wow. Oh gosh. This is making me very mad. Yeah, restart. We're gonna restart this one. I normally don't do that, but the game totally glitched there. I did the Energy Evolution and then it played it down and took it back. I don't even know what that was. Alright, so we're gonna restart that match. That was weird. PTCGO just doesn't want me to play this deck, apparently. And I was really excited about it too, because it actually looked pretty cool. And I knew it played well. Like I said, it's one of the few that it does fairly good against the Garchomp deck because it can actually hit the 150. So alright, so we get the Eevee start again, we get Turtonator, we get Remoraid. We have Ultra Ball for Lele. The only problem is if he gets... Oh, I should have played Pokemon down, that was stupid. The only problem is if he gets his Eevee, or his Glaceon, which is possible still with Float Stone. but if he doesn't, then we're actually in good shape. I don't know what we'd get rid of though. We'd probably get rid of Ultra Ball and whatever else comes. Except we probably, you know what, we probably wouldn't. I don't know. It's tough to say. No, we would bridge it because we'd have Octillery the next turn to dig through, so we wouldn't need a draw supporter right away. I would really love to. Let's see. Oh no, I mean top deck in the Grass Energy would be nice, because then we could immediately evolve Remoraid, but we'd have to dump some other cards. It'd probably be Choice Band and Turtonator if I'm being honest. Alright, so he's going to get his Glaceon off, so that whole discussion I just had with myself doesn't matter. He's just going to do what Glaceon does. He's dumping cards like crazy. He has 3 Rowlets out. That's insane. I bet that's a nice little draw supporter sitting there waiting for next turn. So, alright. Get rid of these. Grab this guy. There's a strong chance he's going to knock out that Eevee next turn. That's not what I'm worried about. I just need to get these cards out of my hand because the next turn Abyssal Hand will be really good. And we can potentially do something this game. Which is, of course, the goal. He's going for that DCE. And potentially 3 Decidueye. So we'll see how his hand worked out for him. Yep, there's 1. Alright, so he's going to start taking on Turtonator. He didn't get his DCE, that's good news. Whew. And we got our Evolution, which is good. Not really so much for the GX at this point. The GX attack. It's more so for the HP. Also, it's 3 Guzma, not 2. Sorry. Alright, not terrible on prizes. They're pretty well spread out. Yeah, we don't need the... It did it again! What in the world? Alright, we're just gonna keep playing. And, I don't even freaking know. What the heck? What is going on, PTCGO? Screwing me over. It's all good, dude. Attach this here. Well, Cynthia. Get some more cards. And I guess we'll quick draw since that's all PTCGO wants us to do. I've never seen a glitch like that before. It's working for him. I don't know why it wouldn't work for me. It literally lets me play it down and then just yanks it straight back to the deck. I have no idea. I think it's a glitch with Glaceon's ability. Yeah, I'm wondering if PTCGO, when you use Energy Evolution and it becomes a Leafeon, if it assumes that that is Leafeon's ability and no longer Eevee's ability, if that makes sense. So, alright, so we have our Leafeon, finally. Thankfully, he wasn't able to do any damage, which which I don't think he would have. Let's dump some cards. I'm trying to think of how much damage I can do. I can do 110, 130, 150 with that. I'm gonna Kukui. Get a Choice Band. Do I play Lele? No, I'm not going to. I'm gonna Abyssal Hand, try to land the DCE off 2 cards. Doesn't happen, that's okay. What I will do is I will Grand Bloom, and I'll get, oh man, yeah, we don't have any more artillery there in our prizes, but that's fine. So we do have another Leafeon. Really the key to that is just keeping the Eevee alive, because Decidueye would have taken it out next turn had I not done that. But now he has 3 Decidueye, so he's going to start taking down Remoraids, which isn't good, but we have Sycamore. We'll be able to get our energy. We'll hit this guy. 110, 140, 160. Yeah, we'll be hitting from 160, which isn't bad. I'd like to get a DCE Choice Band on Turtonator and maybe take on some Decidueyes. That would be neat to see. That was really the main reason whenever we originally looked at the list that Turtonator would be in there. And the good thing about using Grand Bloom, like I said, it kept Leafeon, or Eevee alive rather, and our Halas now have more potency. We'll Sycamore first before we Abyssal. Get through our cards. So we get a Fomantis, and he's just gonna knock out next turn. So we'll have to wait till next turn. We'll Eevee, give it an energy, and go on from there. Yeah, because otherwise he's just gonna take easy prizes. So we do 160. That's not bad. We still have a chance. He has an empty hand, and let's see what he top decks here. Once we get the Guzma, or I'm sorry, the Glaceon out of the active, we can start using some abilities. Let me think here. How do I want to play this? They're gonna take down Octillery unless I do something about it. So we'll stall a Decidueye. I feel like that's a good move. Is my other Leafeon prized? I can't remember. We'll find out. Let's see if it'll let us do it this time now that Glaceon's not there. Okay, so it was prized. That's okay, that's good to know. Problem is they're going to take that as a prize now. That was, I know, not the best decision. But that's fine. Now we can... Why is it not letting us use our ability? Oh shoot, doesn't have energy attached. Ignore me guys, they're gonna take it out anyway. Gosh, I'll wake up, I swear. Alright, so now Glaceon is a threat. So really another Guzma would be great. Okay, so instead of taking Octillery, he's gonna take Eevee, is what it looks like. Which is fine with me, to be honest. So Eevee actually served a purpose there. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach a Grass Energy. And then we're gonna use Breath of the Leaves to heal it. Duh. Alright, so we're gonna be able to take down a Decidueye, that's good news. Unless I don't want to put down a Fomantis because he's just going to take it out. The only reason I would consider putting down a Fomantis is so I could potentially draw into a Guzma. So there's still 2 more in the deck, and the deck is low. Yes, it has been a mess. I'm going to risk it because I think it's worth a shot. Okay, we get a DCE. That's not too bad. I'm going to Hala. So the main risk that we run is, okay, that's not a bad hand. This next turn we are going to knock out Decidueye, but he's probably going to use 2 Feather Arrows to take on Leafeon, and then use that GX attack, which will bring down Leafeon, excuse me, which is fine, and then Turtonator will come up and take down Leafeon, right? It should. Yeah, because he's at 180 already. No, 160. And we have Lurantis. So he'll be swinging for 40. And he'll knock him out, and then something will come up and try to attack it. It won't be able to. So we're in an okay spot. Yep, that's exactly what it's doing, just like I said. Which really, you can't blame him for that. It makes perfect sense. He figures he needs to get those 2 prizes. But we're going to even it back up. And the good news is we're actually at this position better set up than he is, because he just has Decidueyes that can snipe, which, you know, those could cause problems for us, but not too much. We'll dump Octillery and Eevee. We'll grab ourselves, do we get that Lurantis, or do we do more damage? I think we do more damage because we're going to be taking on Decidueyes then, so the more damage the better. 60, 90, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to use Sycamore because I want to keep these energies to use. I'm going to take the knockout. I have a feeling, though, anything that he brings up is not going to directly attack Turtonator. I don't think that's part of his plan. And quite frankly, it makes sense that it wouldn't be. But that's fine. It gives us a chance. Alright, so we have to... Oh, sweet. Alright, cool. So we don't have to worry about that Eevee. So I guess really our best option at this point is just take down a Decidueye, which shouldn't be too tough. Right now we're swinging for 120 against them. So 2-shotting them, which is perfect. I could Kukui, you know, that way if something else gets stuck up there, it could also take them out. And of course he's gonna go for Octillery, but I think I'm going to... I'm gonna Guzma. I'm gonna go for that Decidueye just so I can heal Octillery, cause some issues for him. We'll put a DCE on. Probably should have done Grass Energy, but that's okay. He doesn't run any E-Hammer in that list, to my knowledge. I would imagine he doesn't. I'm pretty sure it's my list. 20, 40, 60. Alright, so we're swinging for 120. Good, good. And then if he gets that Decidueye out of the active, we have a Lele, and I know we had all 3 Guzmas in our deck. So we just need our Turtonator to survive this one turn. Yep, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Now, if he gets a DCE, we're screwed. But I think he would have just attached it and taken me out, because I know he hates slow play, so I don't think he's going to sit and do that. I'd like to think he wouldn't. Yeah, he's not. So we just actually... Oh, no, our freaking... we can't do it because the ability. Gosh dang it, that's stupid. We're gonna end. That's what we gotta do. And then we'll Abyssal Hand. I wonder how many DCE has he gone through. Not a single one. Cool, bro. We can't get out of the active either. So we just have to hope and pray that he does not get what he needs. If he does, it's game over. You don't need a choice band? Oh, thank goodness. Alright. So we have 10 cards in our deck. What are the chances that we draw our last Guzma? That would be incredible. Or, I think we still have one more Float Stone. Yeah, we have one more Float Stone in there too. Another Float Stone would be good. Or, I mean, really, we could just DCE on out of there. But, if he's swinging for 110, he'd be up to 170. He would, he'd be able to take me out next turn with, yeah, he's got it all set up and nicely packaged. Bravo. 110. I can do 130 with Kukui. That doesn't do it. That does not close it out. Man, I wish there was another way I could shrink up. I'll put that out there just in case I choose to retreat. There's our Guzma. Thanks, bro. You know what? Let's retreat into Octillery. Yeah. Because we have a DCE, we have Guzma. So I don't care if he knocks out Octillery. Next turn I can Guzma up this Decidueye, attach the DCE, and take him out. So that's the good news. Oh, dude. He's going to end me and potentially knock out Octillery. If he knocks out Octillery, we could be in a lot of trouble. But he had to get an energy off those 2 cards. Did he not get it? He did not get it. Oh, and you know what? I had game last turn. I got used to the Lurantises. I could have taken game last turn with Leafeon, and I still can this turn, so that was misplay, and thankfully it didn't screw me over. He knew it. Misplays for days. Solar Beam for the knockout. Alright. I think we got it now, guys. I think I learned how to play Pokemon in this game. It was great. It was awesome. So alright, that's good. I'm glad to know that Leafeon can beat Glaceon, even with such a horrendous start. And when I say horrendous, I mean that was painful to play. So we're 1-1 now. First game was, you know, a dud. Second game was almost a dud, even with that big glitch, which let me know if you guys have had that happen. I have not had that happen in all of my testing so far, so I don't know. I mean, I haven't really played any Leafeon, or at least not much of it, and not against Glaceon, so I guess I think it's a bug that TPCI needs to work out, because I think it's picking up that Glaceon's coming down, and it's assuming that, or Leafeon's coming down, it's assuming that the ability is Leafeon's ability as opposed to Eevee's, which is just weird. So I'm pretty sure this is his Golisopod list that he's adjusted to have the Dawnwings Necrozma, and this is actually an okay hand. The problem is, no, this isn't a problem. I can get my, oh no, he even told me that he was going to play this. Alright, so we can make things happen. If we're going to use items though, we need to use them now. If you haven't seen the new Luxray list, oh, and I grabbed the wrong freaking card. I should have grabbed a Lele. I'm talking too much. Anyway, the list is that Luxray list. I guess really it's more Luxio as the focus of the deck. So now we have to use that and only get 4. There's freaking Lele, of course. Alright. So what the deck does is it shuts down your... We have Lele to get Brigette next turn, so that's fine. It shuts down your ability to use items. So that's pretty critical. Right now we have a lot of stage 2 decks running around, so Rare Candy's going to be shut down. So I would suggest if your deck does rely heavily on Rare Candy, maybe consider tossing, like if you're running, so like I know a lot of Vikabulu lists don't run the Charjabug because of, you know, you just use Rare Candy, go straight into Vikavolt. Same thing with the new Magnezone. A lot of people are skipping the Magneton portion. I would suggest maybe tossing in 1 Magneton, or if you're running Vikabulu, 1 Charjabug, because that could make a difference. There's really a lot of things to consider in this next St. Louis Regionals. We're starting to see a little bit more Garbodor come back. We saw that at Oceania today on stream, doing extremely well, and I'm not surprised. It was something I've actually mentioned recently. I've heard a lot of people mention it recently, how this is just the perfect storm for Garbodor to come back when people least expect it, because items are everywhere. And people don't care now because Garbodor has supposedly died, but it's like lurking in the shadows and it's waiting for its chance. I think it'll come back and it'll be a one-time thing, but it'll happen, and it's gonna hurt for all of us who aren't paying attention. Alright, so, man, 40 damage with a Shinx, that's not too bad. Alright, so we're gonna be able to get off our turn 2 Grand Bloom. And now he's getting the bad starts. I had a good start and I screwed it up. I could have gotten 7 cards with that Hala, but you know, live and learn. So grab 2 Fomantis. I'm trying to think here. Oh man, you can't attack Xurkitree with special energy, but doesn't prevent the effects, so he can't attack a Turtonator that has done damage. I'm still going to put this guy out there because I want to get more draw. We'll start with these guys, and I will just slow roll it and get my grass energy on there. I'm going to use Breath of the Leaves first. That is going to be something we have a strong advantage, because I believe that attack that prevents you from using items only does like 30 damage, like not a lot. So you know what, this is actually a good one to have in this matchup, because it starts off with grass energy, just a single one, and then it gets more grass energy from the discard pile, so we can start setting those up so we don't have to rely on our DCE so much. Yeah, I did the thing. Now we're finally getting to see a game. What you gonna take out? Yeah, that's what I figured. Alright, so I'm going to attach to this guy. I'll draw with this first one, then I will let's dump it. Let's shoot for the Float Stone, and we got energy in the discard. He's having a slow start, so we know we're in a good spot. So we get more grass energy, so that's fine. That's good. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm definitely fine with that. This we'll use Hala to get 7 cards. Again, hoping for that Float Stone. If not a big deal. He's kind of slow moving right now. I'm going to use the Field Blower now before my abilities are shut off. Celebi is going to be important to take out as well, because let's see, do I need more energy in the discard? I do. Let's dump you, and let's dump you. And do I grab anything? Let me see what's in here. Alright, so we still have 2 Float Stone. We have another grass energy. I'm gonna take out the Turtonator just to shrink up what I can draw. Oh, I should have failed it actually, so I could draw more cards with Octillery. That's okay. Hey, we get the Float Stone. So we get to attack, which is good news. Actually get a Choice Band, which is better news. We will retreat. We will Flower Supply. And that makes it a 2-shot game. We'll put them both on to Leafeon. I feel like that's a good play there. Because we're already taking down 2 prizes with Xurkitree. Excuse me. And then slow rolling. So 80 damage is what it's going to take him out. Too bad I don't have a Guzma. But let's Abyssal Hand, see what we can get. Nope. Alright. So I'm not going to use that Kukui. Yeah, I don't need to, so I'm not going to. I'm going to hold on to the Kukui because I will need it to take out Luxio if he doesn't evolve. Excuse me. There's a Guzma, so that's good. We could take down Celebi. Yeah, Celebi actually would really screw him over. So 30 damage. That's what it does. Yeah, we're taking down Celebi. For sure. And we'll be able to use Leafeon's Breath of the Leaves to heal the damage done to Lurantis, which will only be 30. What you grabbing, Matt? Okay, makes sense. And he's probably going for some more energy and some more Shinx to set up on the bench, which makes sense. Alright, so we lost our Guzma. I could just straight up retreat Lurantis, bring Leafeon up, and he can one-shot Lux. Well, no, he takes less damage, though, doesn't he? Yeah, 30 less damage. So I have to be swinging for 180 against him. So if I get another Grass Energy, I'll be swinging for 150, 170, 190 with Kukui, minus 30 is 160. So if I hit the other Grass Energy, which is pretty low chance, I think we only have 2 in the deck now. But if we hit it, then we've got the knockout. So, but if not, I mean, we can Solar Blade and heal well, no, we'd have to hit another energy, sorry. Ignore me. We're still not in a bad spot. We're actually in a very good spot. Oh, alright, so he's going to use Volt Bolt. Discard all Lightning Energy. Hey, I'm reading, Matt. Oh, he didn't use it. Discard all Lightning Energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 150 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It's pretty solid. I feel like using Kukui is a good option. And that is why it's a good option. Beautiful. We can't use the GXO. Didn't think that through. 140. We're doing 160. Is only 130. That's fine. We'll still heal the damage off. And it's 2-shot either way, which is fine. I am kind of surprised he didn't use Volt Bolt while he had the chance, because he could have actually taken down 2 Pokemon between that first one. He could have taken, probably Lurantis would have been a good option, and then an Octillery, or one of each, you know, whichever. Wouldn't have been bad, or maybe even set up the Lele for a knockout, because then all it would take would be one, what is it called, disconnect? Yeah, one disconnect, and he could take down Lele. So I am kind of surprised by that, but he's starting to get things going now. One of my favorite parts of this list, obviously the Grand Bloom GX setting it up, but I think the Lurantis-GX is a really solid inclusion to be able to speed up the Grass Energy, and we saw it helped us immensely in this matchup, because a lot of decks have issues with Circuitry getting around it, but Lurantis was able to 2-shot it and set up at the same time. So I think that was very strong. Yep, so he did what he probably should have done last turn. Oh, I guess the reason is he had to discard his energy. So that's kind of a last-ditch effort. Alright, so we have a DCE. Who do I guess I just put that on to Lele. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's what I do. Going to take down his Luxio, so that way it's not a threat and all of his energy's off the board. I'll use Leafeon though. Let me use Thistle Hand first. Alright. And then the knockout. Going down to 3 prizes. More energy. Guess we just keep building up Lele. I see some of the cards he's using here. So counter energy, Nest Ball. Yep. Alright. parallel. What are we getting rid of? We're getting rid of Lele number 1. And we'll get rid of Octillery, actually. We're not needing it too much. We don't really want to draw through too many more cards because we're good. And I like having this Lele built up because he can one-shot things once I get this DCE on him. So I'm going to stick with that. And let's see, how many Guzmas have I played? 2? Okay. I still have a chance to draw into 1. If I do, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take down Luxio. Actually, taking down Cobalion would not be a bad plan either, because he's swinging for 30, 60, 90, 120. Choice Band 150. Yeah. There's a max potion. I think our main plan now is to take down some of these smaller guys. Celebi, Luxio, and Cobalion. I think that's a good, decent plan. The problem is we only have 1 Guzma left, and we have to work with it. So he's going to 2-shot Leafeon now. But we, of course, are going to use Lurantis to take him out. We're going to get rid of the parallel. No, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to... I almost forgot. Almost forgot Breath of the Leaves. Going to retreat. Put Lurantis up here. We're going to put the DCE on this guy. We will put down Eevee. And then we'll end ourselves down to 3. Draw a couple more cards. Alright, so we're taking down Cobalion, which is good. And then we just gotta take 2 more prizes. And the key is just figuring out which prizes we're gonna take. If he keeps playing Max Potion over and over and over, that could cause problems against Luxray. Oh, and that's right, he plays the Luxray Braked just to get the additional HP. Yeah, the attack's not really worthwhile. It's kind of a Hail Mary. Or, I mean, if you're swinging for just 130, not bad. But at this point, we really just need to get our Guzma and take down Celebi, because then Luxray can't use the item lock. We're only down to 9 cards in our deck. I'm 95% sure we had all 3 Guzmas in there. Which if we did, then it's a pretty good chance we'll draw into it. We can Ultra Ball this turn to check. Just dump an Eevee and a Grass Energy. Actually, it'd be great if you use that stretcher to get a Luxray to put onto this Luxio, because then when I take out Shining Celebi, he's going to be kind of stuck. He's going to have to build up more energy to do anything. And I'm not going to be able to Ultra Ball this turn, obviously, because he's using the Disconnect attack. Which really, I'm sorry, I may not have mentioned this at the beginning. The reason he can use that attack from Luxio is because of Shining Celebi has a time recall ability where your evolved Pokemon can use attacks from their previous evolutions. Alright, so Kukui's not going to do any good for us. I am going to build up a Lele still. And we will just Solar Blade, heal ourselves. Nothing like having a 2-shot, a 1 prize. Can't win this one, started too slow. Yeah. I think that's, you know, a lot of people are looking at this Luxio deck and thinking it's really, really, like, the best option as far as an item lock deal, because they used What did they use before? They used the Seismitoad, and they were used to that item lock being super strong, and it is. But I think whenever you're having to get a stage 2 to capitalize on what a basic does, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to do that. Parallel, I will dump you and you. Get rid of my liabilities. Mimes useless in this match, but actually really smart play, protects your Celebi. Can I take this one out? Yeah, I do 80 damage. And if not, I had Kukui. Yeah, the healing is actually coming in handy. The only time that I've seen it work is whenever you're not facing off against a Glaceon. Because, I mean, it just shuts it down, which, you know, makes sense. I'm gonna be trolly, just because I can. It's my video, so I'm gonna do it. Animal Kukui. He hates people doing that. Alright, awesome. So we got to see the Leafeon Lurantis list in action. Sorry about the glitches and things. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm gonna have to look into it and see if it continues to happen, or if it was just a, I would say one-time thing, but it's a two-time thing really. So let me say thank you to Matt real quick. He doesn't want to talk. But anyway, so as I mentioned, this was Matt's list, and once again, thank you to him for battling it out with us with those three solid decks. So you can kind of see how this deck works. I think it's fairly decent. I wouldn't say it's as strong as some of the other options we've looked at, like Decidueye Glaceon, like Garchomp Lucario, but to me it could definitely be a contender. It's probably, gotta be careful how I say it, but probably one of the cheaper GX decks at the moment compared to something like a Glaceon. So if you're looking to play a GX deck, or maybe this was something you pulled, I remember my first tournament, I played what I pulled, which was a bunch of Lurantis, so I played Lurantis Vileplume, and it actually went really well. It was my first ever tournament. I started the tournament 301, which I didn't realize how good that was at the time, and then I just kind of tanked from there, but you can do surprisingly well with things you pull. And I've seen some of the pull rates for the Ultra Prism boxes. The Leafeons are definitely in there. I pre-ordered a playset and I pulled 2. So, just goes to show you can pull more than what you need, and you can pull some good cards and actually make some good lists out of it. So, if you're new to the game, this might be a solid list for you to play. It's fairly self-explanatory. Has some nice healing options, some energy setup as we saw with Lurantis, a little bit of versatility and damage acceleration, which is solid. So if you like the list, feel free to take it and go test it out. Let me know what you think of it, and I'll be sure to let Matt know what you guys think of it as well. I'm sure he's really happy that people were asking about his list. So yeah, so take it, enjoy it, play it, and then come back for more videos. And as usual, if you have enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like for us. Leave a comment for us as well. I love talking to you guys on here. And then obviously if you're new to the channel, or you've been watching for a while and just haven't pulled the trigger on it, please be sure to subscribe. We really appreciate it. We've had a huge surge here recently. We passed up 100 just less than a week ago, and it just keeps soaring from there. So we really appreciate that. And as I mentioned in my last video, if you're going to be in St. Louis this next weekend, or not this next weekend, a week from when this video comes out, hit me up. Say hey, I'll be at the convention center all weekend. and I'll be happy to say hi and meet some of you guys. So, as usual, I've been Jordan with the Deck Box, where we want to know what's in your box. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.